Pelosi, Daniel, is no longer Michael Jordan.
No, it's a shame.
No, but what are we talking about? What am I talking about? What do I mean by Michael Jordan? Daniel, take it away, buddy.
Okay. So what do we got here? So Michael Jordan, let's talk about that. So one thing that we have admitted, because here at Hardlands Media, we may have personal issues with many people in the establishment, but when they do things, we will say, yep, you definitely did those things. We're not going to lie. We're not mainstream media. So in this case, Nancy Pelosi has called herself Michael Jordan because she is the best fundraiser that the Democrats have ever gotten. She gets rich people to pay large amounts of money to her, and then she then buys loyalty from the rest of the party, and she is really phenomenal at it. She's not good at holding the party together. She's not good at maintaining seats. She's not good at, well, most other things, but she's able to keep people in line because of the money she has raised, which has been, well, how should we say it, her trump card. And times are changing.
Yep. Also, real quick, too, I want to read out 2 super chats. Kawhi LPS YouTube star, any ACS on the Hardlands Media team, and also shout out to Anna Bird retired. His means test, I guess you're talking about Buttigieg, his household income under 100K. That's not even middle class, and how true you are. I guess I'm a little bit of an atheist, just a little bit here and there. Somebody asked us, Kawhi asked if any atheists on the Hardlands Media team.
I think it's majority.
Yeah, majority. So far. Yeah.
Is what it is. Anyway, so let's go into this. U.S. Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez raked in more money for her re-election campaign in the last fundraising quarter than any other House Democrat, including Michael Jordan. I mean, Nancy Pelosi.
Oh no!
Records show, and that's like Nancy's entire identity is that she can raise money from rich people. AOC, a Democratic socialist who reps part of the Bronx and Queens, raised in $1.42 million between July 1st and September 30th. The lion's share of donations were $1.1 million of the $1.242 million were under $200. So she's getting an enormous amount from Grassroots, and then some amount of your 200 plus donations, but individual nonetheless. And what did Nancy Pelosi raise? I actually have it somewhere. She raised less. It's somewhere. Here it is. Nancy Pelosi raised $1.26 million, so about $200,000 less. This is a freshman Democrat outraising Michael Jordan, again, self-imposed, self-calling Michael Jordan, the fundraising master of the Democratic Party, is taken out by a freshman senator. And she said that Democrats, and remember, this is Nancy Pelosi who has said repeatedly that, oh, AOC's cute, but she can't raise money. Well, and that goes further. Rashida Tlaib, who also is a first year, not a chair of anything, not been in Congress, gotten these connections for decades, raised $722,212. So, Kid, what do you think that these new senators, these new congresswomen are outshining the old in a way that was supposed to be their greatest weakness?
Okay, so here, just so you guys understand this, since Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashid Tlaib, and Ilhan Omar entered the stage, they were attacked from day one by the establishment media and the DNC establishment, especially Nancy Pelosi. She was leading the charge and attacks against them, attacking their character, attacking progressive policies and ideals and political reform. Nancy Pelosi, who's supposed to be this great leader, the leader of the resistance, someone who screamed on the rooftop that Trump is a threat, has just once again proven how out of touch she is. I mean, remember, she voted in favor for increasing the National Security Act, all right? She even had so many times have said that she is a capitalist to the core and is against any kind of democratic socialism or progressive ideals. But yet now, Nancy, the great Nancy Pelosi, is losing at her own game, at fundraisers. She's losing at that game because you want to know why? Progressives and independents who want to reform the Democratic Party, who want to bring in progressive policies, don't need Nancy Pelosi. They see someone else who can get the job done, and that's AOC. And the reason why Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is able to command such respect is because she doesn't take donations from lobby groups, Wall Street executives, big banks, major corporations. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is on point. She's unapologetic. She's not on the phone with her donors. And this goes out to people who are in the Republican establishment and the DNC establishment, to the loyal voters for those people in the Congress. Guys, 99% of the time, those people in the House and in the Senate, they're on the phone. They're not passing legislative ideas or fighting for you in Congress. They're asking donors for more money. AOC doesn't have that problem, and Nancy Pelosi is going to slowly realize that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the leader of the resistance, the leader of new change and new reform, and Nancy Pelosi just can't hold a candle to AOC, and that's a real fact. That's real power. Nancy Pelosi, who had numerous times to fight for progressive issues, chose not to. Nancy Pelosi is all more than willing to support the DNC establishment, as well as people within the Republican Party. This once again proves, now more than ever, we need to step up and get involved. And when we bring in people who actually want to bring in change, they can get the job done. The Democratic establishment once again shows itself for what it is. It's nothing but a paper tiger surrounded by a paper wall, and people like AOC can just push it down, and we need now more people like AOC to step up, because this can be done. We can beat the establishment. It's a real dream that can be achieved. Now let's step up, because right now that story is a show of hope.
Yes, I remember in the radio days how we were kind of talking about, it was way before AOC even hit the radar of anyone or even decided to run for office.
Ah, the radio days.
Oh yeah. But remember how we were talking about how just what you said, that there really isn't a defense. The power of the Democratic Party is a paper tiger. It's a paper wall, and it just is one layer of defense that everyone thinks is insurmountable, but it's not. It's really not. And AOC is able to walk in as a freshman and beat Nancy Pelosi at her own game. Even if it's a small fundraising quarter thing, it shows where things are moving. It shows the power shifting. And the other thing is, Nancy Pelosi's power is effectively derived from her ability to have people owe her for favors that she's done, getting them reelected, and the power of the purse, essentially. That's not loyalty. That's not real loyalty. That's not earned in the same way. That's threatened or toyed over your head. AOC has people around the country that believe in her. And to Kit's point, Nancy Pelosi, what is she doing all day as leader? She's calling people on the phone, asking for more money. Whereas AOC, just by her aura, just by what she's trying to do, in a sense, by not going on the phone, AOC is making more money by getting stuff done that we want her to get done. Mm-hmm. And they don't know what to do. I'm not even sure they're aware.
Hold on. There's another thing, too. When AOC, Rashid Tlaib, and Ilhan Omar actually backed up Bernie Sanders, that once again shows how powerful they are, all three of them as individuals, because Bernie Sanders got a huge wave of support. Mm-hmm. Something that I'm pretty sure Nancy Pelosi would love to have for her establishment pick. See, again, Nancy Pelosi's out of touch. This isn't the early 1990s anymore. This isn't the early 2000s. You can't run a political party that's going to favor the establishment and assume that everyone's just going to fall in line. Thanks to social media, thanks to independent media, we are now able to see through who the frauds are. This is why this 2020 election cycle is so important. And yes, it is very possible to defeat Nancy Pelosi because her seat is up for election. Could you imagine?
We actually interviewed the person.
We actually interviewed one of the progressive challengers. By the way, we also got a super chat from Big Baby Zubas. We need to unseat contested a progressive majority. Couldn't agree more. We need progressives, independents, alternative party. There we go. People don't like the phrase third party. Alternative parties. That means Greens, Libertarians, Socialists. I don't care, whatever. Progressives, independents. Time for all of us to step up and vote out this two-party establishment, because the Republican establishment and DNC establishment are friends with each other. The same people who basically donate to the Republican Party also donate to the Democratic Party, and Nancy Pelosi is all too happy, all too excited to take their donations. Well, AOC isn't, and AOC is already commanding respect, and she is a true leader, and she leads. That's all I got to say about that.